Thank you very much.
It's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at all the new comic books I picked up at the comic book shop this week. So if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you probably know I'm a huge fan of Savage Dragon. So you might also have heard that recently my local comic shop kind of restocked their Savage Dragon back issues. They've been putting them mostly behind the display counter, putting them up on display. They had a box behind the counter, but on my trip to get some new comics this week, I decided to check their back issues on the floor, and they had actually restocked some of their Savage Dragons. So I had a bunch of new comic books that I had in my hand. I was actually going to pick up, and I ended up putting them back on the shelf because I wanted to pick up these Savage Dragon back issues instead. So I'm trying to get, a full run on Dragon, and I think I decided this week that I'm going to focus more on picking up some of these Savage Dragon back issues than focusing on some of the newer comics. So we'll see how it goes. I probably got about 70% of a run here on Savage Dragon. I haven't actually gone through and calculated it or anything, but found some good ones that I didn't own. And they've still got some more, so I'll probably go back next time I'm in and pick up some even more Savage Dragon back issues. So some of the comics that I put back on the shelf this week were Ultimate Black Panther number 11, G.I. Joe Real American Hero, I think it was issue 312. There was the Wolverine Venom War number 3, which actually came out like a month ago, but they didn't have the cover that I wanted, and they finally did have that cover in this week. I was kind of excited to see that, had it in my hand, but I put it back. So also the Time Slide number 1, which they actually didn't have any copies left when I went in on Thursday evening. And it had just came out that day, so I wonder if they under-ordered that one. So it wasn't something I put on my pull, but it looked like an interesting book. It's kind of a reboot of the Timeless series Marvel had been doing the past couple years with Kang, except this year they're calling it Time Slide, and they were doing it with Bishop and Cable. So I'll probably look for that one still and try and pick that up if I can find that issue somewhere. So those are all the ones I didn't pick up. But so what I did end up picking up this week, new issues, I ended up picking one comic from each of the three main big publishers. So I got one from DC, one from Marvel, and one from Image this week. I didn't mean to do that. It's just how it worked out. So I picked up Justice League Unlimited number 2. This is the second issue of this ongoing Justice League series spawning out of the DC All-In special, the Absolute Power miniseries. This is running, adjacent to the Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman series, except this takes place in the actual DC universe, not the Absolute universe. So the first issue was good. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything. So I figured I'd stick around for this second issue and kind of decide if I'm going to stay on this title or not. Now, I haven't flipped through these comics yet. This is the first time I'm looking through them, so I'm just kind of looking at the artwork for the first time here. I'll get some reviews of these comics once I read them, so stay tuned for that. I did a review of Justice League Unlimited number 1 already, so go check that out on the channel if you haven't yet. But this is written by Mark Waid. Dan Mora is on the artwork. I think they're a good team. I've liked their work on World's Finest. I liked the Absolute Power miniseries. So looks like we get a Challengers of the Unknown preview backup story here. I like the Challengers of the Unknown. DC's kind of using some characters they haven't used in a while, I feel like, which is cool. They're kind of giving the Question their own spotlight here too. Their security council here on the Watchtower in the Justice League. So looks like a lot going on here in this issue. DC Comics Justice League number 2. This was $3.99. The Marvel book I picked up this week was X-Men number 9. This is the Raid on Gray Malkin, part 3 of 4. Got Ryan Stegman on artwork. Jed MacKay is the writer. This doesn't look like Stegman, though. I wonder who is doing some of the artwork here. Federico Vicentini is the other penciler here. These first few pages are his for sure. We get a nice double splash page, though. Looks like all the X-Men battling these Sentinel Hounds. Maybe they're kind of still battling with each other. We got Siren here and the Blob and Toad, I believe, and they've been working with Dr. Ellis, who's captured some of the mutants in this Gray Malkin prison. I like these pages, though, by Vicentini. These are pretty nice looking. I like Juggernaut's look in this series, too. I like this team. I like the differences that they've kind of made between the Uncanny team and Cyclops' team here. Cyclops' team is more like a covert action unit. Rogue's team is more like a family unit. So they're at odds here. I thought the setup for them battling, they've been kind of hyping it up for the few months, X-Men versus X-Men. I didn't think the setup was that good, and the actual showdown between the teams was underwhelming, I feel like, in the last issue of Uncanny X-Men. But here's Stegman doing this double splash page. This is pretty cool. So looking forward to reading this book. We got Inmate X here, which we're believed to be Professor X. Looks like we got Juggernaut trying to break him out here. There we go, we got him. So, to be continued in X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 8 will be the final part of this Raid on Gray Malkin storyline. So, and that was a $4.99 comic book. And then prices just keep going up. I've got the Image comic I picked up this week, Violator number 4 of 6. This was a $5.99 comic book. This has been a really awesome series, though. I think these are like 40-page comics, so definitely worth the price. There's been a different artist on each issue, and they've all been pretty outstanding artists. Mark and Draco's been doing the script and the plot for these. It's basically an origin of Violator, his story coming out of hell and, becoming the Violator that we've come to know in the Spawn comics. So, but it's been a pretty epic tale. And the artwork has been really awesome in each issue, like I said. Different artists in each issue. They really didn't have to do it like this for Violator, but they are. So, got to give them props for that. Definitely looks like some adult content in this book for sure. So, we get some inks in the back of the book here, which is always a plus. So yeah, Violator number 4 by Image Comics. There's the cover to number 5. This the cover artist here is Gian Enrico Bonacorski. So, and then I picked up the Free Marvel previews and the DC Comics previews. You can pick these up at your comic book shop with the purchase. They're free. So I'll have a review of the upcoming previews as well. I've got videos covering the last few months and January and February coming up, so go check those out on my channel as well. And I just did a top 10 comics of 2024, so go check that video out. And thanks again for watching. Let me know if you see any of these comics you want me to review specifically, and I'll try to put those at the top of my list. So go read comics.